now every nation is trying to figure out, well, who's going to move first and how fast are they going to move. Now, the interesting thing to understand about this is that this is all creating what I'm calling sovereign FOMO, right? Each sovereign nation has fear of missing out. And we have sovereign FOMO where demand is going parabolic. But it's going into an immovable object or basically a fixed supply. So the thing with commodities, so oil, uranium, copper, silver, etc. The thing with commodities, and Bitcoin is a commodity, is that it's unlike an equity. We set the price of a commodity based off of supply and demand. Now, the supply of oil it's very hard to dictate, right? I mean, we have all these different nations pumping at different schedules and different time frames. But with Bitcoin, we have a fixed supply, 21 million. So it takes the supply side out of the equation. So all we have to really pay attention to is the demand side. So we know that, like I said, Bitcoin has 21 million. Now, here's where things get interesting. Let me break down a little bit of math for you. So here's just two buyers. Now, I've done videos talking about Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. I talked about the infinite money glitch. Maybe we can link that video in the show note down below. You should understand what Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy is doing. But here we have some math. So right now we have about 164,000 Bitcoin being produced per year through mining. 164,000 per year. Now, per Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy plans to buy 175,000 Bitcoin per year for the next 3 years. Just one company, just one. Then Senator Lummis's bill, the United States government, says they want to buy 200,000 Bitcoin per year. So just two people, just the U.S. and MicroStrategy, plan to buy 375,000 Bitcoin per year. The problem is there's only 164,000 being created per year, which means there's way more demand than there's supply. Now, this is just two buyers. This is not accounting for the sovereign FOMO that's about to happen. And now you can start to see how quickly this can run away. Now, let me show you a couple other things. Now, we can see right here, this is Bitcoin on the exchanges. So this gold line is the Bitcoin price, and this green line is the amount of Bitcoin that's available to buy currently on exchanges. And you can see as the price goes up, the available Bitcoin in the ecosystem to buy right now is going down. Now, there's always going to be Bitcoin to buy. So for everybody that's going to go, yeah, then everyone's going to hoard it, and all these people that get a first mover advantage, lucky for them. No. There's always going to be Bitcoin available at the right price, supply and demand. That's how this works. But we can see how this is already setting the stage for FOMO. Now, we can look at this chart, which I think is pretty interesting. And this shows the amount of Bitcoin addresses that have at least one Bitcoin in them. And what we can see is there's about 1 million addresses, wallets, that have one Bitcoin in them. Now, let's think about this for a second. In the United States, there's about 22 million millionaires. 22 million people have at least $1 million. Okay, but there's only 21 million Bitcoin. And only 1 million so far have even one Bitcoin. In the world, there's about 60 million millionaires. And there's only 21 million Bitcoin. Do the math. You can see, and now this is not accounting for the MicroStrategies and all the other corporations coming on board. This is not accounting for the sovereign FOMO that's about to happen. And what this does is it sets a floor on the price, okay? So this is very interesting. So when you think about buyers, whether it's me or you or maybe a hedge fund, right? You're like a price-conscious buyer. I want to buy on dips. If the price goes up, maybe I'll sell a little bit. I won't sell a little bit, but I'll certainly buy on dips. I'm trying to sort of trade around and find the right price floor. But some buyers, like nations, for example, are not price sensitive. So Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy, for example, is not price sensitive. They just bought, MicroStrategy just acquired another $2 billion worth of Bitcoin just a week ago at 80,000. And he says he's going to continue to buy every top along the way. So no matter what the price is, they just buy on a regular basis, dollar cost averaging in. Nation states are very similar. They will just continue to buy. They're not trying to trade around the price. So what that does is it sets a floor. So we have nations who are not price sensitive, corporations like MicroStrategy who are not price sensitive, and they're buying more than is being produced. So that means there's more demand, a floor of more demand than there is available supply, which is pretty interesting. And as I said, we know there is certainly not enough to go around.